Hi everyone, and welcome to my second video. It's been a few days. I believe I posted on Thursday, and now it is Sunday evening, or afternoon. My goal was to do a video every day, but I discovered that that's just not realistic, so it's going to be whenever I can. I would like to have a topic to my talks. I kind of went on and on my first video there, and basically the history of me and what I've been through. But today I'd specifically like to talk about psychotic episodes and what brings them about, and to the best of my knowledge, kind of thing. Because I'm definitely not, as much as I've been through it lots, I'm definitely not a professional on it. So I'm hoping that I can get some comments from people and some suggestions as to what to talk about. I mentioned I think Jane Duvall in my last post, and she's the executive director at the BC Schizophrenia Society. And talking to her, it was great. It has been great. She's made me realize things about psychosis and schizophrenia that I didn't even realize, but once she said it, it was like, yeah, that's definitely true. I wish I could remember the example, but I can't. Maybe it'll appear somewhere in my ramblings. Anyway, so today, psychosis and what causes it. The best I can describe it is stress. There is something else that I don't know. Some sort of negative force, some sort of very negative force that I can't explain. And I'm thinking back to my very first break with reality, or psychotic episode, and I wasn't well. I knew I wasn't well. I couldn't. I worked as a personal trainer, and that was good because I'm a very, very big advocate of exercise and the health of exercise and what it can do for you if you include it in most of your days. But there was still something wrong. I was completely off, and I not completely, but everybody around me knew I was off. I mean, my boss, where I worked, sent an email out to all the clients saying, there's something wrong with Pete, or I don't know exactly what the email said, but after it had been said, I got some strange, I didn't get strange vibes, but I felt like I was always been being tested during my personal training sessions, and whereas before they just kind of happened, and there was no judgment. Not that there was judgment. It's just when somebody gets put on alert that something's wrong, they and something was wrong. So it wasn't wrong of her to say that there was something wrong to the people that obviously pay money to be personal trained, but I guess the writing was on the wall that something had to change in order for me to get better. And so stress, where is it? Stress of a job, stress in your family, stress in your relationships, stress with your friends. It's a horrible thing once it overflows. I was fortunate enough to be part of a genetic counseling study that was done through UBC at Children's Hospital, and there's very good people running it, and they broke it down for me as simple as they could. That basically it's like, you have a jar of stress, and you fill up that jar as you do things in your life, and when the cuppeth overflower, then you become psychotic. I mean, it's very simple, but it does demonstrate pretty much what happens. So what has brought about my psychotic breaks? The first one, like I said, I can't explain at all, because that wasn't really. I don't think I was that stressed. I just knew there was something wrong. And maybe it was just in the cards for me to go through something like that. But then you get to the question is, what was that? What was that horrible force or whatever, a feeling, spirit that came over me that I couldn't shake, and that was consuming my life, and then ultimately led to my first hospitalization. Since then, there has been a few, obviously there's been multiple psychotic breaks, and some of them I can remember, some of them I can't. But the first few, I'd say maybe 5, were brought about by something I literally cannot explain. And as I talked about in my last video, that's why I struggle with spirituality and a connection with spirituality. And just because it's been, whatever it was so negative, and I try to figure out what I did to deserve it, and I just don't. I can't come to a conclusion. I really don't know. I'll briefly touch on marijuana. I have found out through quite a bit of reading that I was going to have a psychotic break no matter what. It was just going to happen. But marijuana contributed to that. It really did. It was definitely a catalyst for putting me even further down a track that I was already going down, and quite fast too. I am concerned for places like Colorado and Washington State in the United States, and the fact that you can smoke marijuana now legally, and all I can think about is the repercussions that's going to come through the mental health system in those two states. I believe that there's some people that could do drugs and it doesn't really affect them. They feel high, they feel great for a period of time, and then they just go back to their normal lives. But for somebody like me, who obviously has a much more fragile mind, I can't go near this stuff anymore. I don't even like the smell. I mean, I do like the smell of it, but it reminds me of the horrible feelings that I went through when I was high, and how I couldn't bring myself to come back. I'm not knocking marijuana. I've seen how relaxed and happy people are when they smoke a joint, but it's not for me. And maybe I found that out the hard way, but that's just the way it just can't be in my life. Is just what I'm trying to say. So stress, like I said, is I think the trigger to my psychotic breaks. My son was born 5 years ago, and as much as I had always wanted to be a dad, the stress of having a child and the taking care of and that kind of stuff took a toll on me. I was working at a job that required me to be up at about 4:30 in the morning to start a shift at 5:30, and it was a very lonely job because you were pretty much by yourself on a machine cutting grass at a golf course, and that was fine when we were permitted to listen to music when we were on our machine, but I guess there was a rule that came into place that we couldn't have any electronic devices on us while we were operating a machine, and so then I was alone by myself for 6 hours on a machine, trying to cut the straightest lines I could, but my mind isn't built for something like that. So I guess the stress built up. I think partially due to the fact that I wasn't getting enough sleep, and that was my cup or my jar ran over again, and I ended up in hospital. I do actually, with these videos, want to make people aware that are not mentally ill, that they can make a difference. They can learn to recognize the triggers, or recognize what's going on with someone who is psychotic. I know one particular morning I was obviously psychotic, and I called a meeting with my boss at the golf course, and I started asking him what kind of things he wanted in life, and he replied happiness, and I thought that was a great one, but then I went on to tell him that I was the King of England, and all these kinds of things that basically the voices in my head were telling me. Now, the voices don't appear until the stress levels are so high that you literally don't know where to go, and all you want to do is escape, and I think that's what brings about the voices, is the fact that you don't want to deal with life. It's just the voices will fill in the gaps, kind of thing. And there is a place that I used to go to in my mind to hear and listen to and respond to the voices, but I just refuse to go to that place anymore. I do find myself slipping every once in a while and be like, and going there, but it's a horrible place, and it's not real. Not to say that I shouldn't say it's not real, because if you guys know anything about string theory, it implies that we have 11 dimensions, and so my thoughts are that I'm just going to a different dimension when I do go to that space in my mind, because it's still there, and who's to say that that's not part of reality too? So yeah, the stress of having my son, the stress of working a job early in the morning. Those are the only two that I can really come up with. I'm going to post a link to a TED Talk. I really wish I could remember this lady's name, but she did a brilliant job of describing what it's like to be schizophrenic, and she talks about how she's, I believe she's, I could be wrong, but I believe she's a professor at UCLA or USC, one of the two down in California there, and she interacts with really interesting people all the time, and so her active brain is satisfied because there's so many interesting things that they're working on, so many great ideas that come up through the people that she works with. So really, for her, it's therapy to have really neat things to do, and I hope that what I'm doing is going to be the same thing, because it makes me delve into truly what has happened to me, what I believe in, what consciousness really is, what is real and what is not real. So that's the exciting part about it, because if it's really interesting, what you're doing, if what you're doing in your life is really interesting, if it's a labor of love or whatever, then that's a stress reliever, and so less stress, or stress is removed from your jar, if we're going to call it that. Of course, you can add rings to your jar to make it bigger, such as exercising, such as regular medication consumption, such as good social interactions, such as good daily routines, good hygiene, and as much as when my son was born, he was a big stressor. He's anything but that now. He's very much a stress reliever for me, which I couldn't be more thankful for, because that just makes me a better dad, and I enjoy being around him. He's very, very inquisitive, and challenges me to come up with things. Sometimes I have to go to Google to try to figure these things out, but he has a great imagination, and I'm very proud of that. So yeah, so that's basically what causes psychotic breaks is stress. Stress, and then there's the negative spirit that I literally cannot explain. Because when I first experienced it, I was not stressed out. I wasn't. I mean, I had no problem working. It wasn't like it was a tough job. I enjoyed teaching and talking to all my clients that I had. And so, anyways, yeah, there's the unexplained, and that's kind of the scary part to me, right? Um, I really wish I was the kind of person that could so completely, wholeheartedly believe in in a spirit, and use that spirit to guide them through their life. I am going to go see the Dalai Lama speak on Tuesday at the convention center, and if there's anybody that, well, there's two people in this world that I believe are the leaders of this world in their separate fields. One, the Dalai Lama, being the spiritual side, and then the second being Stephen Hawking, the science side. So I do remember reading about what the Dalai Lama had said one time, and he said that if science could prove that that science was the truth, then he would completely rethink his philosophies or his thoughts, and become a scientist, which is about as open-minded as you can possibly be. So yeah, so I'll leave you guys on that. The stress and the triggers of psychosis. Next time I will be talking about what it's like to be completely consumed by a psychotic break. It won't be easy because I don't remember a lot of it, and I'll do my best. Yep, so thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye. Oh yeah, I was gonna do a sign off. I know it's kind of cheesy, but my sign off is gonna be pee free. There we go. See how that works. Okay. Bye guys.